Hawaii. I'd never been there before, and my husband and
Me neither.
yeah, his sister and I all went because she had something. She had a conference to go to there for her work, and she didn't want to fly alone because she'd never been on a plane before. So we went
Oh
with
my god.
her. So we
Well, I
made a
heard
whole
that's a long
vacation
ride.
of
How
it.
long was it?
Well, the trip from Dallas, we had a layover, unfortunately. So we had the trip from Dallas to LAX was like 3.5 hours, and then from LA to Hawaii was 5 hours 50 minutes. So it was a very long flight, and
That's a long flight.
I never do layovers. I always do direct flights, and the only reason we did a layover is because her company had gotten the tickets, and we had to pay for our own, but we got them so we could go all do it together, and so they arranged them and we paid them, and so that's what they put us on. So I would not have been on this fucking plane. I hate layovers, they're so stupid. Anyway,
Why am I not surprised that Donovan doesn't
well,
do layovers?
because it's just, especially a long flight, I just want to get the fucking flight over. I don't want to have to stop, get off the fucking plane, get on another fucking plane.
Well, even if it's a short layover?
No, I don't like layovers. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense to me. Unless you absolutely have no choice, don't do a layover. They're stupid. Anyway, but the funny thing is, between LA and Hawaii, I was sitting in the window seat, and Michael was next to me, and his sister was on the aisle. And in front of us were 3 people, of course. And in front of us was this woman. And I don't know, after the flight took off or whatever, I had my headphones on, and I was watching a movie on the thing in the seat in front of us. And I was blah, 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 in my own zone. And while I was watching the movie, I pulled my bag out from under her seat, and I got something out, put it back. And then about, I don't know, an hour later after the movie was over or whatever, I took my headphones off, and Michael says to me, "Did you see that woman look at you?" I was like, "No, what did she do?" She gave you a dirty look. I was like, "Why?" Because you pulled your bag out from under her thing. I guess you bothered her or something. I was like, "Whatever, we're all in this together, bitch. I don't care." So anyway,
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like I was being rude, right? And so then, towards the end of the flight, I get up out of my seat to go to the bathroom. I come back, and it's probably about 40 minutes before we land in Hawaii, and I sit down, and the woman, and all I do is sit down, and the woman goes, she turns to me, she goes, "I'm trying to sleep," and I go, "That's just too fucking bad." And I was so not having her. I was so like, whatever. Because I already knew she was a bitch because he told me about her. So that's why I reacted that way. So I was like, whatever.
Right.
And so the rest of the flight, which was like another 40 minutes or what, I was constantly like kicking her chair and like putting my tray up and doing shit. I was being a real bitch.
Because he's 12.
I mean, she was just really
No,
rude.
I hate that though. I hate it when people think that the world revolves around them on an airplane. Like, we're all in this very tight, confined space.
Exactly.
Like, no one gives a fuck that you're trying to sleep, ho.
Exactly. That's what I said. We're all in this together. So it's like,
Right.
people were-
like, who are you to think that
Right.
everyone around you must stay still and quiet because
Exactly.
you are trying to sleep?
And the girl behind me was doing the same thing.
get
to
some
me.
earplugs.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, whatever, bitch. I didn't care. And so we get off the plane and we go to baggage check, and right next to us is she and her husband. And she's sitting there giving me dirty looks, and I'm like, what? Seriously, I'm like, what? At her. And she just was just like a bitch. I don't know what her problem was. She just needed some sleep. I don't know. Anyway, so we get to Hawaii. We did a great thing. We did all the, the Pearl Harbor. We do all the touristy stuff. I did 2 hikes, one to Manoa Falls, one to Diamond Head. We did tons of shit. I don't know. We did the zoo, blah, blah, blah. So
Was that you on one of were you riding one of the horses when you did the hike or whatever, or was that something different?
No, that was different. That was the horseback ride. That's the third thing we did. Yeah, another thing we did. No, that was fun. But my horse was a bitch, too. She had a mind of her own. She's like, no, I don't want to go this way. I'm going to go start eating these fucking berries off this tree, and I'm going to do this. And I'm like, oh, my God. And at the end of the thing, I mean, the whole time I was holding the reins, like having to like fucking pull her head so she'd do what I said. It was horrible. And finally, at the end of the thing, I get off the horse, and the guide is like, he's like, you're getting in trouble over there again, Donovan. I was like, no, your horse is a bitch. he's like, you're right. She kind of is a bitch. So anyway, but so that was fun, and the ocean's gorgeous. But I have to say about Hawaii is that they have the most fucking laid back attitude you will ever find in the world, because they were all like Hawaii time. Talk about, CPT. This is Hawaii time, okay? Because these people are like, oh, your food will come when it comes. I mean, it's just like, you're waiting on people to do everything. It's slow, but it was good because everything moves at its own pace. It's not like here it's all fast paced or whatever. New York or whatever is like that.
Right.
So it was nice. It was a nice change, and everybody's very friendly, and it was beautiful. And one more thing I'll say is that when I went, my allergies disappeared. No allergies or anything this time of year. Come back with a vengeance. I am like the whole fucking time. I hate Texas. It sucks. Anyway.
Dead. Yeah.
So anyway, I had a good time. That's what I was doing. So let's get to topics.
I always heard that everything there was like. Well, I always heard that everything there was like abnormally expensive.
It is.
It is.
Expensive.
It is.
Yes. I mean, I think my burger. I had a burger one day at. It was called Waikiki Burger or something, and it's called the 5-Finger Burger or something, and it was like $16 for a burger.
What?
I'm not lying to you. And it wasn't anything special. It was just a burger. and it came with fries, so I guess that's part of it, but it's $16.
Oh.
Yeah.
$16.
Yes. And our room, like rack rate on our room was $6 something a night. And our room, that's a whole other story I won't get into, but anyway. So so it was not a cheap place to be, but I really didn't have to. We didn't really spend that much money. I think the whole week we were there, we didn't spend like that much. So I got like $100 worth of souvenirs, and of course all the stuff that we did, most of it we'd planned ahead and already paid for. So I guess the total trip I think total probably costs about $4,500, something like that. So it's not too bad. So
okay,
not too bad. Anyway. So
I was gonna let you guys know up front, I am having connectivity issues. So if I just die all of a sudden, and trust me, I'll come back.
Okay.
So
we trust you, Christian. Let's talk about Lady Gaga.
Yes. Well, while we were gone, Lady Gaga returned from her 3-year hiatus with her new song, Perfect Illusion. Some are calling it a perfect illusion. The opinion is yours to have. I feel like, we had kind of talked about in the past the hopes that they were kind of paving the way for her to make a big pop comeback because, they put her on American Horror Story and, they've kind of been keeping her in the public eye just enough to be likable, but not enough for her to, kind of hang herself. And so she put out the new song after a much hiatus. And again, the opinion is yours to have. Song debuts at number 15, which has since fallen to number 42 on the Billboard charts. It's only been out 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So we've had this conversation in the past where these sort of iconic stars like Janet Jackson and, these really big stars that put out new music and it struggles to sell. So my question is, do we think that she peaked too soon and now she's already in that point in her career when nobody cares anymore?
No.
Or is it just a flop song?
I think it's so ridiculous when people act like when a singer, and usually it's a female singer like Madonna or whoever, Janet Jackson, whatever, and they reach a certain point in their career, especially when she's so fucking young still, by the way, and she's barely even put out like 3 albums.
She's like 26. Yeah.
Right. So she is not done by any means because she has one fucking song that's not a number one hit immediately. And I have to say that I heard the song and I thought it was really repetitive and not very deep. I didn't think it was all that. I mean, it's kind of catchy because I kept singing it, over and over in my head after it was over. Mm-hmm. But it's not like, the best song. So that's why it's not doing well, because the song itself is not good. It has nothing to do with her being finished.
Right. And I think that I agree with you. It's just so crazy to think, like, somebody who at one point in time, very recent in the world of, history, pop history, whatever, in the last like 5-8 years, was literally putting out music and it was like number one, best album, Grammy,
well, that's because she was,
you know what I mean?
That's because she was new and hot at the time, so it was different.
It's just, but that's the thing. It's like you're once you're able to like get to this level of fame, it's not about getting there. It's about sustaining it. Right. Because she put out her first album, which put her on the scene. Her second album, or her 1.5, because she released like a small EP. Right. And then her second album did really well. Like it sold like 1 million copies in its first week. But then the last album, the art pop album, we all know what happened with that, which was fine. I think every artist you're gonna have lulls, commercial lulls, as long as you're, staying true to your artistry. I think that's all that matters. And I feel like she was the time. And at that time, they were going through a lot of drama with her management and her label, and they were hiring and firing people left and right, and it just felt like a very chaotic time. So I don't know. Maybe the rest of the album will be a different kind of flavor than this song, and maybe this is the not as good song. They were just
Right.
hoping to kind of put it out and it be successful, essentially just based off of the hype of her coming out with another song. So who knows? We'll see. But that leads me. Have any of y'all watched American Horror Story season 6?
Yes, I have.
No.
Did you see her? Did you see her on there this last week?
No, Michael said,
Did you
"Oh, there's Lady
recognize-
Gaga."
you didn't even
and I can't
recognize
remember
her.
who he pointed to. He said, "That's Lady Gaga, isn't it?" I was like, "No." So I didn't even see who he was talking
She was
about.
on there. She was on there for like
Who was
30
she?
seconds. So I don't know if her character is going to come later
Who was
or
she?
what, but she was on there for 30 seconds and she was unrecognizable. So
Who
unless you knew it
was
was her, you probably
she?
didn't recognize her. But do you remember this scene where it cut to the guy and he was like crawling through the woods
Yes.
and his scalp was like ripped off?
Yes.
And then it showed this girl behind him and she had the scalp in her hand. That was her.
Oh, I thought it was Kathy Bates, but
She's
okay.
gonna be she's gonna be like one of the villagers, like with Kathy
Oh,
Bates.
well, that's not a very big part, but maybe it'll get bigger. So, okay.
Yeah, that's maybe it'll come along the way. But this season's actually gonna be shorter. I think that in the past they've always been like 15 or 16 episodes, but
Yeah.
this season's only gonna be 10 episodes.
Well, that's enough. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I agree because I kind of feel like in past seasons it gets to about the middle,
drawn
and then
out,
all
yeah.
of the sudden they like come in with all these subplots that have nothing to do
Right.
with the plot, and they
Right.
cram them down your throat. And at the very end of the season, they try to like fill in all the potholes of like the stories they started out with
true.
in the first like 3 or 4 episodes,
Yes.
and then also fill in the holes to like the last. So I think 10 is good.
Hello.
Are you liking the new season?
Oh yes. Oh, did you ask me that question? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
I was like, okay.
Yes, I think it's interesting the way they're doing it with interviews and all that stuff, and like it's a TV show and reenactment.
Right.
I think it's interesting. I think it's good. I mean, I don't really know where they're going to take it, from here, but I think it keeps me interested. Yes. Do you like it?
Yeah, I've really been liking it. I feel like already off the bat, it has more of the kind of shock factor that the last season, that the hotel season was missing. Like Hotel, it kind of felt like they were pacing to go somewhere, but they kind of lost everybody before they got there. And this time, I feel like they're giving us just enough drama in every single episode to like kind of keep us hooked.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like the platform change. I think that they needed it because the gimmicky thing was kind of getting a bit old.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
like, the theme, the heavy theme.
You got to keep things fresh. So he's doing that. So that's good.
What's that?
You got to keep things
Yeah.
fresh. So yeah. I think there's a
Yeah,
delay.
so I like it, but
Because every time
one
I say
thing
something,
that one of my
you guys
friends had
respond
said,
like 10 minutes later. So there's a delay.
one of the things that my friend said that I kind of thought was interesting was that the characters that are doing the interview, the actors that are doing the interview, look substantially younger than the actors that are playing them, like in the reenactment. Sarah Paulson.
Thank you.
Angela
I
Bassett.
agree. Especially
So
the
I don't
Angela
know if
Bassett
that's, like,
character.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's poor casting or maybe that's like going to come into it somehow about, I don't know, some alien abduction
Well, I
shit.
don't
And they're gonna
know,
rewind. I don't
because-
fucking know. We're gonna have to watch.
I
and
don't
see.
know because I think
But-
the Sarah Paulson's character, or the one that she's playing. What's her name that plays Lily Rabb or whatever her name is?
Lily Raby or whatever.
Rab, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. They're about the same
Rabb,
age,
yeah.
aren't they? Or is she younger than Sarah Paulson? I'm not sure, but I think they're about the
She
same age.
looks a little bit younger than Sarah Paulson,
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, what do I know? But
but I'd
okay.
say like 5-year age range.
Yeah, not much. Well, but I think it's a good show. Yeah, I like it. I think it's going to be good, so we'll see where it goes. Excuse me. Okay, so let's talk about the 2016 debate. Did either one of you actually watch the debate at all?
I did. I watched
Woohoo!
it all.
Me
Well, not
too.
all. I missed like the first 20 minutes of it because I wasn't at home. But like the moment I walked in the door,
Yeah.
I set everything down and I turned on the TV.
Good.
They were about 20 minutes in. So yeah, but I watched it.
Good. And what did you think?
I watched pieces of it.
So here's my thing.
Go ahead, Jason.
So here's my personal opinion of the debate, just in a nutshell. Trump really didn't answer any questions. He just was taking jabs at Clinton. I